Today we're talking with Pat Sharkey, who is Floyd's new tourism director, and we're going to be talking to her about what she does and how this tourism initiative got started. So thanks for joining us today.
You're welcome.
So tell us, what exactly or how did the tourism initiative get started in Floyd?
Well, the tourism office in this position actually began last summer in June of 2013, so it's been about a year and a half. But really, the effort began years prior. I think, Floyd is renowned for visitors and tourism, and in 2008, 2009, there was a lot of discussion about the need to start thinking about how to do it as a community versus piecemeal, different businesses partnering informally. And in 2009, with the leadership of Ladina Martin, who really wore this hat on top of all her other work with the county, began a series of community meetings, and the Virginia Tourism Corporation came and helped facilitate that to look at what we really needed to do a better job with tourism in Floyd. And from that came the idea that we really needed an office and a central location to do our planning and promoting.
Right. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. So what is your role as the tourism director?
My role is to promote Floyd, all of Floyd, as a visitor destination, to look at promoting, to look at supporting the best ways to promote, to help folks do it cooperatively, as well as to plan. It isn't just about driving a bunch of visitors in here and seeing how many we can get in, but to be thinking about the best way for a community.
Right. So you mentioned driving visitors in. Have you had any negative feedback from local residents that they don't want to see this happen?
Well, I think that there's always a concern of things not being done right. And I think so when people are concerned, like there are people that the word tourism, and that initiative isn't positive, and I think that's really a concern about not doing it right and not doing it in balance in the community. Right.
So how are decisions made for the tourism initiative? Is that you, or is there a board that oversees it?
Just me. No. I'm kidding. No, there's a Tourism Development Council, this was a big partnership effort, which is really important in a small community and probably necessary to have the county involved, the town, the Chamber of Commerce, and all the businesses that have been doing this and that it matters to. So the Tourism Development Council was established, which is county and town, and because the Chamber is helping so much, Chamber representation, and they're kind of the governing body that watch over how we spend the money. And they've appointed a private sector tourism advisory board, a group of business people that are really involved in tourism and have been, and I work with them to look at decisions and things and look at ideas that are best for Floyd.
Okay. So tell me, you mentioned a little bit about the money and then an advisory. Is that, the board and the council, what exactly are their roles?
The Tourism Development Council, their roles are more governing, and governance and watching out for the funds, since it is public monies that are blended with private. So they do more of that, checking that we're, making sure that they're doing their jobs and how public money is spent. And the Tourism Advisory Board is really about the actions that my office and I take, and the Tourism Development Council has appointed them because a lot of folks in government are not involved in tourism, and they don't know what specific things should be done. So the board itself really helps steer what my office and I do.
Okay. So what exactly, what have you done as far as, have there been travel writers come in? Have you gone to conferences? Tell us a little bit about that.
I have done a lot of different things. First is to just acquaint myself with with the whole playground of tourism, both in Floyd, like who's been doing what's been working well and hasn't, and then as well as in the region and the state. So I know better what the resources are regionally for us as a community, what's been happening and what resources are available with the state, their websites and their potential grants. And we've followed up on the tourism strategic plan that was developed in 2010. Some of those actions, creating a countywide website, a new visitor center. So some of those things were already identified by the community. So I've been working on those. And we've had travel writers come in, and now there's someone that can respond to them that a private business doesn't have to. We've had all the staff from all the Virginia Welcome Centers come in and tour Floyd, so they have a personal relationship. So when visitors come to their sites and they ask a question, folks know, personally about places in Floyd. We've had been writing we wrote a grant. I wrote a grant from the Virginia Tourism Corporation to support our website.
Right. So tell me, you've lived in Floyd for some time.
Yes.
And you've worked as an artist. What's the difference as far as you had that feeling as an artist and a community member, and now you're an executive in the county, and you're representing Floyd. So tell us how that's a little bit different, living here and working here, I guess is.
Yeah, well, I'm in a role now, I think, but prior I was working for myself and just thinking about my jewelry business, although I always thought about Floyd as a community, and I think a number of folks, and I think that's what's unique about Floyd is there's a lot of people that care and participate and partner in our community. But the difference now is that I am representing all of Floyd, and that includes what I'm familiar with, what I personally like, and what I'm not familiar with, or what's something that I may or may not be drawn to really look at our community as a whole. And my job is to think about everyone and support it, both in trying to get visitors here, but also thinking about the impact in a bigger way.
What are the benefits for a local for this tourism initiative? Is there tax benefits? Tell us a little bit about that.
For local folks, I really think that this supplements the money that stays in Floyd, because with 60% of the population leaving Floyd for employment, what that means is those people probably spend their money elsewhere. So tourism alone and visitors coming to Floyd help balance that out. It brings money into the county that stays in the county. And I think it also gives us an environment that we can enjoy, because most of the businesses downtown, potentially even the hardware stores, the shops, the restaurants, some of the folks that offer music, none of those could sustain themselves with just residents. So I think it offers all of us, not just those businesses, the revenue of the visitor, but it offers us an environment that we can enjoy as well.
Now, where does the monies for the tourism initiative come from?
It is a huge partnership in this community, and that's often true in small communities. The county has a transient lodging tax, and a percentage of that goes into the tourism office. The town has a meals tax and a transient lodging tax, and a percentage of that goes into the tourism office. And we're so small that it also required private business contributions. So there's also private monies that go in. And the Chamber of Commerce has been incredibly helpful because it's such a partnered process, we needed somewhere to channel the monies. And the county and the town can't do it individually. So the Chamber of Commerce is the fiscal agent. So they actually coordinate some of the tax and the expenditures.
And I know that with the partnership with the Chamber that there is now a visitor center, and it's the Chamber office too. So tell us what exactly is going to be happening at the visitor center.
Well, we're really excited about that. The Chamber of Commerce and my office, the tourism office, have found a site that opened up right next to the Blue Ridge Restaurant, and we are having both the Chamber office, my tourism office, but a public visitor center on the front area, which is really exciting, and we're working on having enough staff for it to be open 7 days a week. So when folks come in, there's going to be one central location that's 7 days a week that they can get information about who's open on Mondays and who isn't, and what restaurant is open on a Monday or Tuesday night, or what events are happening, or how to get to the stone churches, or all those pieces that often a lot of the business frontline staff are asked, and they don't always have that information, nor do they, is it really their job?
Wow, that's really awesome. That's going to be a 7-day visitor center. So tell me, I hear a lot from people that they come to Floyd and they just fall in love. And so they come back and they move here. What do you think makes Floyd Floyd?
There is a special, something special about Floyd, and I think that all of us here may be so accustomed to it, we don't really, we may not see it so much, but I think it's everyone and all the creative people here that independently do what they love to do. And each of them doing that creates a really holistic experience. And people love what they do, even though it's not always easy and they don't always make all the money they'd like to make.
Absolutely. Now, one last question. Our viewers are not only in Floyd, they're in surrounding areas as well. How do you think that our tourism initiative benefits the New River Valley?
Well, I think that Floyd has a name that, is probably goes beyond the New River Valley. and we're along the Parkway. So I think when people come to Floyd, they learn about the New River Valley as well.
Okay. Well, that's awesome. Well, I appreciate you coming in today and coming in and chatting with us.
Well, thank you.
So check out the website. It's visitfloydva.com.
Yes.
And you can also visit the visitor center right here in downtown Floyd next to Blue Ridge Restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.